Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam, in for Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Heavy rain and windstorms hit hard in the coastal Santa Cruz County. The region's beloved Capitola Wharf Pier was split in half by the 25-foot crashing waves. Crews are now cleaning mudslides and damages following the storms that swept through the state. Some areas are already reopened. And the state reported increased arson arrests over recent years. In 2022 alone, authorities made over 100 arson-related arrests. Damaging hurricane-force winds knocked out power to tens of thousands, causing flooding and millions in damages. It claimed the lives of at least 2 people, including a child whose home was hit by a falling tree.
A toddler was among the 2 who died during the powerful atmospheric river storm that hit California on Thursday. In Sonoma County, 2-year-old Ayon Takini was killed Wednesday night after a redwood tree fell on his trailer home in Occidental, California. His grandmother described him to be a cheerful boy.
Ayon's brings life and joy. He loved playing outside. He loved to dance. He loved to sing. He was the happiest child, always smiling and encouraging people. Now, he was a love, an angel.
According to the Press Democrat, the family's friends and neighbors tried to cut a path to the mobile home, but it was too late.
He was crying a lot, and he could hardly talk. And he said that Ayon was gone. And then when I heard that, I ran out of the house and I went to my daughter's house. I just didn't think, that was real. It didn't seem real.
The storm knocked out power to tens of thousands of homes and disrupted road travel with flash floods, rock slides, and toppled trees. In Santa Cruz, the storm destroyed coastal properties and severely damaged at least 1 bridge and 1 pier.
It's extensive, especially since this is a small community. We don't have a huge lot of resources for something like that. It's going to take weeks easily, if not months, because there's a house down at the end of the private neighborhood that completely lifted off its foundation and is sitting in the middle of the street, blocking the rest of the neighborhood off. Till they move that, nobody's getting out of the end there. So it's going to weeks at least. And definitely millions and millions in damages, because all these are expensive houses.
The storm was powered by 2 overlapping phenomena: an immense airborne stream of dense moisture from the ocean called the atmospheric river, and a sprawling hurricane-force low-pressure system known as a bomb cyclone.
As soon as I came out, it was just this huge wind gust just swept over our area, and trees blowing and a lot of rain just came in very quickly.
We kept getting blasted with wind overnight, and I could hear the rain hitting everything, and I could hear things bouncing around my porch, like my watering cans and stuff like that. And it was definitely loud, but no thunder and lightning. It was just wind and lots of rain, and the street was basically a river because it's the steep hill flowing down it, and it helped lead to all of this.
In other areas, the extent of flooding and property losses was not as dire by the time the storm began tapering off late on Thursday, but forecasters warn that there is more to come. The blast of extreme winter weather marked the 3rd and strongest atmospheric river to strike California since early last week. And there's at least 2 more back-to-back storms forecasted over the next several days.
I got a lot of thanks for posting the images, because a lot of these, are rentals, they're second homes, and so these people couldn't even see the damage they were getting, and I was able to show them, broken windows and roll down shutters, all kinds of debris, logs. Like I said, a boulder smashed into a house over here.
This is home for so many of us, and we love to be able to walk it, and we also love to be able to welcome people who are visiting Santa Cruz to come and walk these West Cliff and enjoy the views. This is quite a significant amount of waves and devastation to the cliffs, but we are so thankful for the sense of people helping people and checking in on each other.
According to the National Weather Service, there will be multiple rounds of rain in the next few days. Flood watch starts Saturday morning and lasts through Tuesday. People can expect more flooding, gusty winds, downed trees, and power outages.
Cleanup was underway in California on Thursday after a severe atmospheric river storm swept through the area. The storm unleashed high winds, torrential rains, and mudslides across the state. Crews from the California Department of Transportation, or Caltrans, began clearing boulders and mudslide debris from roadways on Thursday. The agency says several roads had been reopened following the cleanup efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency on Wednesday. State officials urged Californians to avoid travel during the storm. But by Thursday, many vehicles were back on the roads despite continued showers. Forecasters predict more storms will move through the state in the coming days. The National Weather Service says northern and central California could see an additional 10 inches of rain in the next week. The storm on Thursday knocked down structures and flooded roads. In one Bay Area city, a family had to relocate after a tree crushed their home.
Wind and rain brought down trees on this apartment complex in the East Bay city of Oakland. Victoria James said she thought it was an earthquake at first.
I was in the kitchen getting ready to start dinner. Everything shook and went black. Like the whole unit just like shook. I thought it was an earthquake. So I ran to the back with the kids. We all met in the hallway. And then I was like waiting for aftershock because I really thought it was an earthquake. My neighbor started screaming for me to come out, and I looked out the window and saw the tree in front of my daughter's window right there. So it was a live wire from PG&E. So he said, just come out, get you and the kids out. So we just left what we had on our back and left. But there's big holes in the ceiling, like in my bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen for sure. I saw that tree trunks came into the apartment. So it's flooded in there right now. It's definitely flooded.
Officials had ordered evacuations in high-risk coastal areas Wednesday and warned residents to hunker down at home in anticipation of flooded roads, toppled trees, and other risks.
I mean, I broke down. You know, I tried to stay strong around the kids because I don't want them to see me upset, but it's hard. I mean, we don't have anything but what's on our back. Like, kids don't have shoes on or nothing. So, you know, food is in the house. It's hard.
The storm is the latest of 3 atmospheric river storms in the last week to reach the drought-stricken state. It dumped rain in parts of the San Francisco Bay Area where the region had been under flood warnings. In Southern California, forecasters said the storm should peak Thursday. Santa Barbara and Ventura counties are likely to see the most rain. According to PowerOutage.us, more than 180,000 homes and businesses were without power in California early Thursday. Officials say the storms won't be enough to officially end the state's ongoing drought, now entering its 4th year. Atmospheric rivers, named by researchers in the 1990s, occur globally but are especially significant on the U.S. West Coast. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, these storms make up 30 to 50% of annual precipitation.
Arson arrests have steadily increased in the past 4 years, while significantly fewer acres were burned in California last year. California's fire agency says it's unclear whether the arson arrests played a part in the reduction, but arson arrests do prevent potential future fires.
According to CAL FIRE, the number of people arrested for intentionally setting fires in the Golden State has steadily increased in the past 4 years. CAL FIRE made 160 arson arrests in 2022. That's 11 more than in 2021. CAL FIRE's chief of law enforcement, Gianni Muschetto, told the Epoch Times that the increasing arrests is due to officers aggressively investigating every fire that occurred last year. Masciero said it's hard to ever know if the arrests helped reduce fires last year, but the arson arrests definitely prevent potential future fires. California's two arson laws, Penal Codes 451 and 452, make most of these crimes felonies. Besides increasing arrests, CAL FIRE has also added new technology and firefighting tools, including 2 new aircraft last year. This gives firefighters the ability to attack fires at night and from the air. Additionally, homeowners, communities, cities, and counties have also helped officers identify suspected arsonists by installing more outside surveillance cameras over the past few years. Meanwhile, California saw fewer acres burned last year. In 2022, over 360,000 acres were burned compared to 2021's nearly 2.7 million acres burned.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. Stress and anxiety in modern life are responsible for many mental health related illnesses. A mind-body therapy using sound to relax is gaining popularity in California. And fans paid tribute to Anita Pointer after she lost her battle with cancer. She was one of the founding members of the 70s American girl group, the Pointer Sisters. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Lamb. A number of California prisons are trans-friendly, allowing those who identify as transsexual to be imprisoned with the opposite gender. One former female prisoner discusses what's happening inside female prisons. Amy Ichikawa is the founder of Women to Women. She tells California Insider's Siamak Karami about her organization and the community of previously incarcerated women who provide resources for incarcerated women. When Ichikawa was 24, she was sentenced to 5 years in state prison.
During my time, there was a serial rapist who was transferred in for security purposes. This person was had committed their crime in the same county, I think, as the prison, so there were many women who were familiar with the case.
She said it was intimidating for the women. Now, a recent law in California allows inmates to choose a male or female prison of their choice based on their self-identification without any biological examinations. Among these transferees are convicted sex offenders.
There are very few, if any, requirements other than self-identification.
She tells about the impacts of Senate Bill 132, also known as the Transgender Respect, Agency, and Dignity Act, written by State Senator Scott Wiener. Ichikawa said terror ran through the entire population at the female prisons.
There was very little preparation that went into the transition. They weren't provided with any education or any preparatory actions that would have made the transition less traumatic. In the men's prisons, they received self-help packets, hours of education on how to protect themselves from cisgendered women.
The term cisgender refers to someone who identifies with their biological gender, in this case, biological females. Ichikawa says the female prisons were not prepared in the same way.
One day they just reported that there were posters up in the medical clinics saying what their options were if and when they got pregnant. And that was extremely shocking, being that option number 1 is abortion, option number 2 is Plan B, option number 3 is connecting with a social worker to learn how to adopt out. And that just really made them feel irrelevant, erased.
Nearly 300 applications are pending transfer from men to women prisons, and 33.8% of them are registered sex offenders.
Some of the women were told that there was going to be a vetting process to make sure that no sex offenders, no rapists, no child rapers would be able to access the women's estate. And that's very not true. It's a complete lie. There's serial rapists that have transferred.
Ichikawa received letters and messages from women sharing stories with her, but without proof of pregnancies. According to Women to Women's website, Ichikawa realized a lack of services for women after they leave prison and now advocates for the safety and dignity of incarcerated women.
Read in depth into things and really get familiar with who your representatives are and what they're about.
Ichikawa hopes people could read legislative bills before signing them and not be intimidated or forced to vote a certain way. The Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles announced Tuesday that an apparent cyber attack has disrupted its systems. The agency is trying to confirm the impact and restore full functionality to the systems.
The Los Angeles City Housing Authority recently experienced a disruption to its systems. The agency described the incident as a cyber event and did not reveal the nature of the attack or what data may have been compromised. According to TechCrunch, the ransomware group Lockbit claimed to have hacked into the agency's systems. Screenshots posted online suggest that Lockbit has more than 15 terabytes of stolen files and is asking for a ransom by January 12th. Courtney Gladney of the Housing Authority said the agency is working with law enforcement and forensics to investigate the incident, and that is trying to, quote, confirm its impact to our systems and to restore full functionality securely to our environment as soon as possible.
Fans recently paid tribute to Anita Pointer of the Pointer Sisters. The late singer passed away last week following a battle with cancer.
The Hollywood Historic Trust is paying tribute to Anita Pointer. She was one of the singers and founding members of the Pointer Sisters, an American girl group. Earlier this week, a wreath of roses decorated Pointer's star along Hollywood's Walk of Fame. The Grammy Award winner passed away on Sunday, December 31st, following her battle with cancer. Pointer and her three sisters first began singing together more than 50 years ago in their hometown church in Oakland, California. They released a number of big hits, including Fairy Tale, Slow Hand, Neutron Dance, and Jump. Anita Pointer was 74 years old.
With the stresses and strains of modern life, California's health conscious are turning to a mindfulness class where they literally bathe in sound. These sound baths have become the latest trend for people to empty their minds and relax.
Sound therapy is making waves, sound waves that is. This meditative body-mind practice has gained in popularity and is now one of the hottest classes in California's booming wellness industry. In West Hollywood, chiropractor Ken Best runs a clinic called Many Levels Healing. He aims to create particular frequencies of sound to induce a fully relaxed state.
There are a lot of people today, because of the pandemic, everything else that we've been going through, have had such difficulty dealing with the stressors in their life and causing anxiety and brain fog, and so they can't think clearly. And we find that the sound baths really help them focus, gain back that collective thought that they're trying to get to, and also relieve their anxiety at the same time.
Just as people might immerse themselves in a water bath, people here can immerse themselves in the resonant sound created by singing bowls and gongs. Best believes that when the mind and body relax, heart rate and blood pressure decrease, and a deep state of clarity begins.
I really think that this would be a great help for humanity because a lot of people, they don't stop and they just keep going and living life day to day, and giving yourself time to actually reflect and allowing yourself to surface all the struggles that you are going, and not just the struggles, the good things as well. Giving yourself that time is actually pretty beneficial now for you.
Best also uses Native American drums used for tribal spiritual rituals. A Tibetan bell and scepter are instruments for Tibetan Buddhist ritual recitation.
I find that the sound energy that happens through you makes me feel very grounded and centered, and kind of like anything that will come at me in life, I am ready to face it and very focused.
Similarly, at Artha Wellness Studio in West Hollywood, Jennifer Elliott also runs a sound bath session.
Pretty much we're bringing a lot of the old ancient healing remedies to the modern world.
Elliott also uses a variety of instruments, such as handmade Tibetan singing bowls and gongs.
Sound therapy in my body really feels like this deep tissue massage in every single area of my body, especially my heart space. I've been going through a lot, and when I get down on my mat and allow the singing bowls to move into me, it feels like this deep, powerful wave of relaxation from the crown of my head all the way down to the tips of my toes.
According to data cited in the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force screening recommendations, anxiety disorders affect 40% of U.S. women at some point in their lives and more than 1 in 4 men.
Now to NTD's Tyler Castillo for your sports update.
I'm Tyler Castillo, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup. Since Brock Purdy took over Jimmy Garoppolo as starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, he has won 4 straight games as starter and has beat Tom Brady in his first career start, a feat not accomplished until now. Brock Purdy was drafted last in the 2022 draft, where the nickname Mr. Irrelevant was given. Mr. Irrelevant is now Mr. Relevant, as Purdy and the 49ers have a chance at the #1 seed and potentially a Super Bowl championship. Question remains on who shall become the starter during the playoffs, as Jimmy Garoppolo has a chance to return during the offseason. San Jose Sharks defenseman Erik Karlsson may just be having his best season yet. Karlsson is currently leading all defensemen in points in the NHL with 53 points in 39 games, over a point per game level for the 32-year-old. Karlsson is already a 2-time Norris Trophy winner with his time back with the Ottawa Senators during the 2011-2012 season and the 2014-2015 season. The Norris Trophy handed annually at the end of the season to the best all-around defense player. The Sharks defenseman is producing at an elite level, which makes the possibility to contend for his 3rd Norris Trophy a reality. And that's the Sports Roundup for today.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like for you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcast on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-Today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lamb, in for Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful weekend.